Okay, now we did a pitching video just recently about walking around the practice fairway and hitting pitch shots with one hand, with your shag bag in the middle, and how it helps you get good contact. Now, a couple of things came out of that. One is, Michael, that people have said to us, this is all great, but you guys need to say where you teach, what you actually do. So we're going to give you that information today. And also they say that when we'd like this as a podcast, how do you find it? Okay. So I'm going to interview you and then you're going to give us all that info. And then we also had the reaction when people were saying, could we possibly get some drills to go along with that little video? So who are we and where are we?
We are Golftec and we are at 325 Collins Street in Melbourne CBD. To access our podcast, you go to golftec.com and you can access our podcast. It will be on iTunes very shortly. Okay. For now it's on Podbean, so whilst you're at work and counting down the hours, jump on the podcast, have a listen. There's some good stuff in there. We have a bit of a laugh.
So we have a bit of a laugh. It's all things golf. It's tournament previews and reviews. It's a bit of instruction. It's a little bit about the players. A little bit about the politics of golf. It's a little bit about equipment and what's out there. So it's whatever we feel like covering for that week. If you would like us to cover things, you can also email us at sam@golftec.com.au, that's GOLFTEC, or michael@golftec.com.au. We'll be getting our members up doing some lessons, some live lessons as we go along, and helping them with the instruction. And it's really like, you know, whatever you folks would like us to cover, we're more than happy to cover it.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic, and it's a good way for us to communicate with you guys and engage with the members. So if you do have any questions or you want us to cover something, you know, don't be afraid to come and see us and shout out.
Yeah, and you don't have to be a member to put that request in. So anyone at all that would like to send us an email. And if you would like to be a member of Golftec, obviously we're here. It's $20 a week. We've got 7 TrackMan units in the venue. You can sign up, no lock-in contract at all, and you can have your lessons and you can have your practice time. Okay. Just got all the courses coming through on TrackMan, so you can go to play.
Page flat, I noticed.
Yeah, Page flat. Looking forward to playing that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we did the pitching video. So we had 2 drills. Michael thought of a drill, and I thought of a drill. My drill is just very, very simple. It's basically to get on the practice fairway and just hit shots one-handed with your right hand, okay? And when you do that, all you're looking to do is to make a bit of a backswing where you have a little bit of turn, the body just flows along with the arms up, a little bit of wrist hinge, and then release the wrist angle back to that vertical shaft at impact when you look from face on. And if you do that, you're re-establishing the full radius of your swing. So if you lead too much like that, you can see the club head doesn't get to the bottom of the arc. That's where I can get thin shots, or if I do hit the ground, I've got that leading edge digging and I'll chunk it. And also, I'm not flipping it past my hand before impact, which actually widens the swing arc too early, and that has me hit the ground too early, or have the club coming up through impact, and that's the bladed shot. Hit a couple of shots doing this drill.
So Sam, if you are doing this, are you playing ball position in the middle of your stance, the centre of the chest over the ball? Does that
you know what? Look, I think when you're doing this sort of drilling, you're trying to keep it fairly natural, just feel a natural throwing motion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too focused on it, you know, exactly where the ball. But as a general rule of thumb, yeah, I would have the ball probably just forward of centre. I don't want any tilt to the right as if I'm trying to hit a high drive or anything. I want to be as much as I can.
So I don't think people understand why you
get
notes, and if anything, your shoulders should be level.
Yeah, level. Look, what you're trying to do is you're trying to orchestrate 2 things: the correct angle of attack and the bottom of your swing being in the correct place. As I lean to the right too much, what happens is the bottom of my swing is going to be about where my sternum is. And I've got the bottom of my swing then too far back behind the golf ball. If I do contact the ground, I'm going to hit a fat shot. If I miss the ground, I'm coming up and hitting a thin shot. So I want to stay as level as I can. We actually, incidentally, it's a really good point you bring up there, because we see that with a lot of guys when they're pitching and they've been told to get their weight left. And as they set up, they put their weight left by pushing their hips forward. And you can see that although my weight feels on the left, it is very much on the left. I can pick up my right foot. My The bottom of my swing arc is where my hips and my sternum are. My sternum's all the way back here, so I'm going to struggle. You want to feel like you're very level when you're pitching with your shoulders. You can even be a little bit leaning to your left and get away with it. And you want to feel like the weight, if anything, is a little bit on the left, but only because you're standing on the left, not because you're trying to push your hips forward and get it to the left like that. When you get level, what you can then do is have the club coming on the right angle of attack and the bottom of your swing in the right place. Yeah, absolutely. You want to turn through as you do it to make sure that the weight's moving forward and you're getting the ball and the ground at virtually the same time, right? And I find if the ball's a little bit forward of centre, it also helps to have the action relatively shallow. By that I mean the club's coming in fairly level just to brush the ground and not to take a deep divot. When we see the ball go back in the stance, because folks think, I want to make sure I get the ball first, that's when we see the steepness coming into the action, and that's when you can take a too deep a divot and hit the fat shots.
Let's hit a couple then.
Ball just forward of centre. Now I do this with one hand, this drill, because I like to feel it very much as a right arm motion. I'm just letting the club swing, letting it release. I can feel the club brushing the mat here with the sole of the club, and I don't feel like I've been hitting any deep divots and chunking it, and I'm getting contact with the mat every time so that I don't get any thin shots.
So you can notice as well, like this is only, where we're hitting is only 3 to 4 metres to the screen, and you're hitting it right at the top of the screen. Yeah. You're not trying to help that in the air, you're simply making a basic pitching motion with a little bit of rotation with your upper body, a lower body, and letting the club do the work.
I think that's an absolute, I think if you've hit on an absolute key there, Michael, that I'm not trying to help the ball into the air, okay? And that's a big point that you made earlier was, when we see people trying to help the ball into the air, that's when we see them back, when they're in a bunker or pitching the ball, and they're thinking they've got to get under the ball. You cannot get under the ball, folks. The ground will keep getting in the way. You've got to let yourself be level and let the club release to put the loft into the back of the ball. It's the loft of the club that sends the ball in the air. So I'm not trying to help it up by leaning back or moving back in the environment.
I suppose that's the difference between a lot of other sports, is that with tennis, you can get under it because there's air. Yeah. There's ground and the ball's normally a hip height. Yeah. Or cricket, okay, the ball's up at you. You can get under it.
And there's no loft on the cricket bat on the tennis racket. You've got to put it on yourself. Cleverly, they've already put, especially on a sandwich, they've already put that loft on the club. Now this is just this is a Callaway sandwich, just a 55, 56 degree wedge. We're not talking a 60, 62 or 64 degree wedge.
Yep.
But when I let that club release back to its full range, yes, absolutely, that ball goes up into the top of the net there, and I get some pretty good height on the shot. So that's my drill. Now, Michael, let's see, what's your
so I'm going to go, and I quite like the right-handed drill, but for those that may be having trouble with that, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go the left-handed drill here.
Do you know what, it's whatever works for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
some people are more right-handed, some people are more left-handed. Golf's a great game, especially in learning and practicing. It's what feels more natural for you as a player.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm more left-handed dominant than I am
right-handed. More right-handed.
Okay, so this is why golf's great, and this is why these drills are great.
Hey, well, maybe we should play with you. I'll do the left hand, you do the right hand. And no, it's not going to work.
I don't think that will, okay. But, okay, so what we're going to do, so the centre of the chest, okay, is going to be in the middle of your stance. Your stance is going to be about 2 club head widths apart, okay, and the ball's going to be in the middle. We're going to grip down it slightly, as you can see, okay. We're going to make a simple move to the right, make sure we get some upper body rotation, lower body rotation, and hold that position there at impact. Okay, good. There's no shaft lean, the club head's not in front of the ball, and we're just going to make some slow swings, and we're going to hold that position there, more or less like a flat left wrist, okay? Yeah. Have a few practice swings at it.
Let's see, hit a few of those and see the motion of that drill.
Nice, crisp. Now I've hit that 9, it's carried 9 metres and it's gone 60 centimetres right. So there I'm demonstrating anything under 10 sort of metres, you want under a metre left or right of the target. If you're getting it way left or way right, you've got no club face control. Okay?
So at the same time you get the contact correct,
Yeah.
you're also working on your club face control.
Which is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people come, I can't hit my driver properly. Well, generally speaking, it's a club face control issue. Their palms will be okay.
Especially the short game, you want to have that club, square to where you're trying to send that golf ball at impact. If you want to get
100%.
those pitch off close and get the one putts.
Yep. So, and it's the same with the right-handed drill. If you were going to do the right-handed drill, you can still have a look at the carry distance and have a look at the side total. Okay, and we want to make sure we're getting some club face control, because if we're not going to be able to pitch the ball very well.
You see another one of those beautiful left-handed.
Yeah, you can hold it. If you're not strong enough, you can hold the left hand as well. Okay, just make some slower swings.
I can hear the club just crushing the ground.
Yeah.
Through there.
Ball in the middle, center of the chest over the ball.
Lovely.
Okay, nice soft pitch shot. So then when you go, so that's gone 7.5 metres, 70 centimetres right.
Pretty happy with that.
Yes, then we put two hands on, we make a similar little motion.
Lovely.
And we're trying to hit it in the air, it's going nice and high, it's going nice and straight.
So that's a great way to practice your pitching, is to practice it as a right-handed motion, practice it as a left-handed motion. When you put those two halves together with both hands on the club, you're probably going to have a much better idea of the role that the different hands play in your motion,
100%.
and also how the body actually complements that.
Yep. One thing I want to ask you, as an unprofessional, would you manipulate your grip at all? Would you see a couple more knuckles potentially when you're chipping or pitching, or what's
You know what? One thing about it says as we get into the sort of specialty shots, I suppose, around the green where you're looking for a little bit different wrist action or club face control. Yes, certainly. If I get more of a little bit of a stronger grip with my right hand,
not physically stronger?
no, we're not talking about holding it tighter.
Okay.
We're talking about, and that's a really good point, because so many people, we talk about weak and strong grips. As students, they think we're talking about gripping it tighter or gripping it softer. With every short game shot, I think we want to grip it lightly, to be able to feel the club head. But if we move from the right hand, if we move the left hand position a bit more to the right, that's going to help us actually cup the wrist and actually have the club face a bit more open, and also hinge the wrist more easily. If we move the right hand actually a little bit more on top of the club into a weaker position, again not in the pressure but in the position round to the left, that also aids in the wrist action. That grip can work really well in a bunker for you as well, because what you might see as I move here is that we'll have that grip, or people call it a butterfly grip, because it looks like a butterfly's wings, or the hands opposing grip like that. You'll see that as I get to the top, you can see this on the camera, the club face gets nice and open. Okay. And if there's one thing about bunker shots and high pitch shots around the green, flop shots, every person who's been able to play that well in the history of the world has had the club face what we call open throughout.
Correct. I couldn't agree with you more there, and especially in bunker shots and flop shots, and not necessarily as basic little chip and pitch shots, but if you can't get that grip right at the start, you've got no chance.
Absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned.
All right, so a little bit more on pitching for our members and anyone else that happens to be coming across this on YouTube and through the podcast. Thanks, Michael, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.